often said in the world of media, if you put out one story, it gets rid of another story. That's the idea. That's how publicity machines work. I've told you before many times, when you look back at the old days of the golden era of Hollywood, a studio would sacrifice a lesser star in turn of keeping away from a major star if they had a particular scandal. We saw that through the years, didn't we? Particularly at huge studios like MGM. Remember the story about Clark Gable? Uh-huh. Well, it doesn't really change even in this modern day age. Now, earlier this week, of course, we had cause for celebration, particularly amongst royal watchers, when Princess Eugenie announced that she was expecting once again another child, another royal baby. Now, I often felt sorry for the both girls, the daughters of the Duke and Duchess of York, simply because, they couldn't really have the wedding that they wanted because of the negativity surrounding their father and his disgrace at being removed from royal life. And of course, their mother, Fergie, affectionately known, has had a fair share of ups and downs with the media. So you would have thought that their children, at least, would understand how the media works. Earlier this week, we told you about certain stories that are not true about Prince Harry, in particular his removal from Buckingham Palace and royal life, simply made up story that they can do and get away with. But it was this particular comment that upset a lot of people from the princess. It was all about discussing, exactly what she thought about climate change, moving forward with particular issues, that sort of stuff. And she pointed out that she was raising her child, jokingly I might point out, with a serious tone though, to be a climate activist. In fact, she's banned all plastic and everything in her home. Now, some might say this is the younger generation, this is what they do. She's not exactly a millennial or a Generation Z person. So some might say she's simply jumping on the bandwagon, of course, to highlight the things about climate change. It's something, of course, that the Prince and Princess of Wales automatically do with their charity Earthshot, which has proven to be a big success. But the bottom line over here, Princess Eugenie has received something of a backlash. That's simply because, in this climate that we're in now, a cost of living crisis, rich people talking about removing plastic from their homes simply doesn't resonate. And the bottom line, many people might suggest also that perhaps Eugenie was trying to, well, shall we say, realign some negative publicity against her father. After all, this was the week that his former friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, did an interview on international television. Now she's released a picture of the inside of her bathroom to prove that certain, shall we say, things that would have happened in that bathroom simply couldn't have taken place. It's all bag negative publicity. And the bottom line is this is not simply going away. But for Eugenie, who's obviously having a very happy time of it at the moment, she could understand or possibly think that she's trying to help both her father and her mother. But in this climate, as I say, where people are truly struggling, everything is picked apart and turned into a negative. Perhaps she should have taken the lesson from a woman that she greatly admires and that she's written about and spoken about so eloquently, our late and wonderful Queen Elizabeth, who simply said nothing, and everybody loved her for it. Neil Sean, Whitehall, London.